your notebook, grab your pen. We're about to bring the sparkle back. We're talking real life, real rooms, real days, real childcare in 100 different ways. Schedules, routines, behaviors too. We got practical tools just for you. No fluff, no fear, no shame in the room. We're here to help every teacher bloom. From the classroom floor to the director's chair, Hot Topics brings the answers there. Bring your questions, bring your notes, bring that coffee, grab your toast. We meet you right where you are, then help you shine like the star you are. It's Hot Topics time. Let's talk about it. Real solutions, no doubt about it. Learn it, try it, take it back. Sparkle Cater, stay on track. It's Hot Topics time. Come get the tools for your center staff and classrooms too. Training you to sit is where we grow. Hands-on learning. Let's go, let's go. Let's go. From big nine moments to circle time flow. From learning centers to helping children grow. From staff support to licensing care, we bring the training that gets you prepared. Child care is heavy, but you're not alone. Tuds Academy is your training home. We lead with love, but we tell the truth because quality care starts with you. Affordable, practical, polished, clear. The kind of training you need right here. We bring the sparkle, we bring the plan. Now clap your hands if you understand. Topic time. Let's talk about it. Real solutions, no doubt about it. Learn it, try it, take it back. Sparkle Cater, stay on track. It's Hot Topics. Home, get the tools. Round your civil staff and classrooms too. Training you to succeed is where we grow. Hands-on learning. Let's go, let's go. Who's in the room? Oh! Sparkle Caters. What do we need? Real solutions. How do we learn? Hands-on, heart-led. What do we bring? That sparkle back. Hot Topics, we're ready. No bubbles, open mind steady. We came to learn, we came to grow. Now Dr. C, let's start the show. Hot Topics time. Let's talk about it. Real solutions, no doubt about it. Learn it, try it, take it back. Sparkle Cater, stay on track. Hot Topics time. Come get the tools for your center staff and classrooms too. Training you to succeed is where we grow. Hands-on learning. Let's go, let's go. Welcome to Live Hot Topic Training. We're training you to succeed. Grab your notes, open your mind, and get ready to bring the sparkle back.
There we go. No, I'm not muted anymore. Hello, 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 hello. I know that you guys can hear me now. So yes, let's go, let's go, let's go. So excited. I'm out of my studio because I'm actually at a center supporting with TRS accreditation. 4 stars all the way, baby. That's what I do and love to do. So welcome in, welcome in. For you guys that are catching me on YouTube, hello, hello, and welcome. Those who are there on Facebook, welcome. Sooner or later, we will just be airing on YouTube and Instagram, but as of right now, we are on Facebook and YouTube. So today we're going to be talking about licensing compliance. I got so excited. That song had me going. Did y'all like that? Yes, yes, yes. It had me clapping and dancing. I was like, yes, yes, yes. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, so if you don't know me, this is the first time that you're seeing me here. I am Dr. Carolyn Bob Green, and I am an early childhood consultant, trainer, workshop facilitator, and expert. I am located in Houston, Texas, and I own a company called Training You to Succeed, and that is exactly what we do, is train teachers to succeed. So you can catch me live here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. where I'll be doing a hot topic. Now, with the hot topics, you can attend these absolutely free. And then if you want a certificate, if you registered for the training, I will be sending out a link for you to take a quiz, and then you will pay for your certificate. And those are low cost certificates that I offer to anyone who needs that certification to take back to their center. But if you just want to learn and grow and get as much information as you can, show up here. Also at the very end, I have something amazing to announce, which if you got the email and registered, you already know that we're building something. And that way you'll be able to get all your hot topic training certificates absolutely free as a part of a ongoing membership with Training to Succeed. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Now, many of you are at your centers, and yeah, licensing don't take summer vacation. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. They are working, and when they are off, their supervisors are the ones who do the licensing visits. And so when it's summertime, there's a lot going on. Teachers are on vacation. Extra kids are in the building because they're out of public school. You have those after schoolers that are there. You have kids that are there one week, vacation the next week, and it is a lot going on. And summer compliance can be very difficult. You have water activities, you have field trips, you name it. And as a previous center owner and a multi-unit manager, meaning that I was an area manager over many units of childcare centers, the most accidents happen in the summertime. It happens in the summertime. Things go rogue in the summertime. It's like our guard is down. We're not as heightened. We don't pay attention as close as we normally do throughout the school year. Some of your teachers, their minds are on vacation. The regular teachers are off, but guess what? Childcare is still in session. But some of the teachers' minds go on vacation during the summertime because their mind wants to be off, or they're not teaching as much. And so today we're going to go over just some reminders of things that you really want to stay on top of as a childcare teacher, assistant director, area manager. No matter what role you're in, you definitely want to be on top of these things that will keep you in compliance. So let's go through this. And again, this is a live training, which means that you can ask whatever questions you want to ask. Drop them in the comments and I will answer them live. Do not be afraid. Do not think like, oh my God, I don't know the answer to this. Is she going to call licensing on me because I don't know the answer to this question? The answer is absolutely not. We're going to make sure that you're well informed and educated. So if you're ready to get this going, I want everybody in the chat to put summer fun. All right, let me see it. Summer fun, summer fun, summer fun. All right. And as we get started, so licensing rep is not on vacation. They are there. And so we're going to go over 6 summer compliance hotspots and exactly how to stay covered when schedules, when the staff and the weather all changes in the summertime. And again, this is presented to you by Training You to Succeed in Early Childhood Educational Service, where we come out to centers and we do training. I'm actually at a center right now where I'm working on Texas Rising Star. Why? Because that's another training in itself. We cannot leave our 4 stars in the hands of some of these mentors. And so you want to make sure that you're getting somebody who is well diverse in Texas Rising Star. If it's not me, somebody. If you have questions on any of our lives, be sure to ask those questions on the live, and you have me here as your coach and consultant, absolutely free. So if you see something in the training or when we get to talking about TRS training and you have those questions, feel free to ask me and I'll be more than happy to serve and answer them for you. All right. Yes, Holly. Summer fun. Look at all those summer funs coming in. Yes, summer fun. Absolutely. Yes. That's to let you guys know I'm live and I'm not AI. I know a lot of people, when I used to do hot topics, like, are you AI? No, I'm not AI. I'm Carolyn. So let's get this thing started. All right. So summer changes everything except for your licensing standards. It seems like the daycare just goes through this whole summer thing. Staff is taking their PTO at that time. Rooms are combining. School agers roll in. There's water days. There's field trip. Everything hits the calendar. All these special activities, holidays, 4th of July, Father's Day. Just everything seems to happen inside of the summertime. And so what does not become flexible is the minimum standards. Some of you guys may be chiming in from different states, and I am aware that standards change from state to state, but standards still stay what they are for that particular state. Now, my home state is Texas, and I talk a lot about Texas standards here on my channel, and you're going to get all the Texas things, but I do incorporate some national standards in there as well. Being a person who was NACE accredited, went through the full NACE process, assessed on a NACE, teach CDA, train, assess on CDA, all that. I will incorporate those things, but tonight I want to talk particularly about Texas standards and how we have to stand strong in the summertime, even though these changes are happening. So, staying in ratio, mixed age groups, knowing your ratio for those age groups. And you as the director or owner may know the ratio, but does your teachers know the ratio? Do they understand what happens when you mix and combine groups? Supervision that holds up, like making sure that they're not on their cell phones and texting and their mind is not being distracted by so many other things. Understanding how to use outdoors. Yes, it's hot outside, and you have to know when there is an ozone warning and when you're not supposed to be outside. And it being 99 degrees is not a reason not to be outside. You still have to go outside according to licensing, unless weather does not permit. And that means if there's an ozone watch out there, or on the news it says it's too hot for people to be outside. And in that case, that does not mean stay inside and do activities or circle time, like quiet activities. That means that you have to compensate for not being outside. So what you have to do is kind of push everything back, give those kids time to jump, run, do activities. But what I see is that when it's too hot outside, teachers bring them in and want them to sit and listen to a story. No, they have to still move. They still have to be like they're outside, but they're inside, just like on a rainy day. Transitions, knowing how to transition in and out. You don't want anybody left on the playground. So you have to make sure that you're using that name to face and all of the things. And then we're going to talk about working with mixed age groups and what that looks like, how to calculate ratios. And so I'm going to do some ratio calculations with you guys and kind of talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the thing that many of us go through in the summertime. And that is school age behavior. And keeping them engaged. And then we're going to talk about field trip safety and water safety, just some tools and things that I've learned over the years that I want to share with you as ideas. And remember, if you are a teacher on this training, I'm giving you ideas, and feel free to go back and share with your leadership team these ideas, but don't push and be like, well, she said we're supposed to do it this way. These are only suggestions, and then I'll let you know when it's something that you cannot change because of licensing. So ratios does not take a season off. Ratios don't take a summer off. So you can't say in the summertime you can have 15 kids, but normally you can have 11 if you have 2-year-olds. All right. So knowing your caregiver ratios and knowing how to mix those age groups is going to be so important. And so knowing how to combine correctly. So yes, in the summertime, if numbers are low, you may have 2s, 3s, and 4s all in one classroom. You may have toddler 2s and 3s in the same classroom. But here's some things that you want to know. If you are mixing infants, in Texas, infants is 0 to 17 months. Okay, I know we call the 12-month to 17-month-old classroom or 18-month-old classroom toddlers, but they are really infants according to minimum standards. So 0 to 17 months is considered an infant. And when you mix children in that age group with another age group, like 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and those such, there cannot be more than an 18-month difference between that child and the oldest child. So for example, if you have a 12-month-old and you add 18 to it, you get 8, 9, 10, 30 months. That means if you have a child in that class that's 31 months with that 12-month-old, you are out of ratio. There cannot be an 18-month difference between the oldest and the youngest child when you are mixing infants. And remember, infants are 0 to 17 months. Also, when you're mixing age groups, you have to know how to calculate those age groups. And so I wish I had my magic pen. I usually have one in the studio. But instead, I am going to use a good old pencil and paper with you guys and kind of show you guys this. So if I have an age group and I come into the classroom and let's just say I have 2-year-olds. And so I started off and I have like 6 2-year-olds. So I'm going to write 2 down. So I have 6 2s on my paper. Then my director comes in and she brings me a 3-year-old, another 3-year-old, another 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, and another 5-year-old, and another 5-year-old, giving me a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 kids. Okay, I have 14 kiddos. Many people will start screaming right then, I'm out of ratio because I have 2-year-olds. We're talking about Texas, right? So again, I have 14 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let's see if I'm really in ratio. And I want you guys to get your pen out. I'm not going to give the answer right now. I'm going to give the answer once I start seeing answers come in. Currently on my list, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-year-olds. Okay, I have 6 2-year-olds. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 3-year-olds. I have 2 4-year-olds, and I have 1, 2, 3 5-year-olds. Okay, 14 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So what you have to do is figure out the middle child or the average of the middle kid. Okay. So when you do this number, who can tell me what ratio are we going by? A 2-year-old ratio, a 3-year-old ratio, or a 4 or 5-year-old ratio? In the comments, tell me what ratio are we going by? And then the magic question is, with these 14 kids, are we in ratio? All right. So I'm going to leave that little quiz there for you guys to start dropping in the comments as I go through this training. All right, so we combine because it's lower numbers sometimes. Sometimes the numbers are more some weeks. So we are doing some shifts and changes. You get new summer enrollees just for the summer. You know, those school age kids, the drop-ins, kids that are not on vacation versus kids that are on vacation. Longer days, and it's more moves. And what I mean by longer days is that we're used to having school agers in the morning and the afternoon, but we have them all day. And so we have them all day long. And then there's a lot of transitioning going on. Why? Because you don't want them to sit still the whole time. So you're going inside to outside. Sometimes you're going on field trips. Sometimes you're doing water play. Sometimes you're doing special in-house activities where you're combining everybody together to do like a puppet show, or the firefighters came out to visit you. And so there is a lot going on. But at the end of the day, we have to maintain those ratios. All right. Who is this? All right. Tamalo. Okay, Tamalo. You can type your name in there. She said the ratio is 3. 3-year-olds is the ratio. And for you guys wondering how she came up with that particular number, I'm going to zoom in on my numbers here. So when I counted my 2 middle kids, because we have an even number, so I have 2 numbers in here, 6 up, 6 down, you know, the 7th one, it's not a odd number, it's the age 3. So because it's 3, I already know that my ratio is 3, but had it been 2 or 3, that average is going to be a little bit lower, which means I'll have a 2-year-old ratio. But my middle kid is 3 years old, and the middle kid ratio is 1 to 15, which is 3. So yes, I am in ratio. So we have to do this kind of math. We have to do this math, and we have to make sure, especially when you're combining age groups. And many of us as teachers think like, oh my God, I'm out of ratio because I have 2-year-olds. But when you mix these age groups, it can shift. And look, if you lose kids, if 2 5-year-olds go home, then your ratio could shift to now all of a sudden you can only have 11 and you got to bump kids. And as teachers, we have to keep track of that, because if licensing comes in, you can't say, well, my director put these kids in here. All right, Tama, thank you so much, sweetie. you cannot say, oh, well, my director put those kids in there, she must have knew, because sometimes when kids are being shipped, we're not counting. The teacher has to know how many kids she have and say, hey, wait, hold on 1 second, let me check and see if I'm in ratio, if I can take one more kid, if I can take two more kids. And so these are the things that we have to be aware of. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, the ratio is going to be 3. So protect your ratios, build those written summer coverages in there, making sure that you know who is going to float if you are the center director or if you're the assistant director. Post the ratios in each classroom. And so what I did was a ratios chart that I laminated and put in the classroom. And then on the bottom of the chart, I had where they could write in who was the oldest, who was the youngest, who was the middle kid, and then how many they had. And they would constantly wipe it off and write it up there at all times so that my teachers knew. Why? Because I didn't want licensing to walk in and they were so busy. They're like, oh my God, I can't even think right now, because it's all of a sudden. I wanted them to always have that number right there and up to date so that they can look at it. Licensing never said that you could not look at the wall to see how many you have. It says that you have to know how many. And if you're a person that have to see it, make sure that you're writing it down. Make sure you're putting it somewhere so that you can glance at it and look at it. Because there's been times that licensing has walked in the building and it's like, how many kids are in the building? I'm like, look up at it. Okay, I have 75 kids, or I have 245 kids in this building today. And so off the top of my head, because I'm doing so much, moving around so much, I can't always remember like that fast. And so just know that you can have that number written down, glance at it if you need to, and then let them know what number. It's better to be sure than to guess and say the wrong thing and end up with the citation, because some licensing reps are not forgiving when it comes to that. Count before and after you move, combine, or pick up kids. Never rely on the person who was in the classroom before you. Never say, okay, you said you had 10. Okay, I know it's 10. No, count before that person leaves out so that you know for sure. You know for sure. And that way you can not have to worry about being written up because you didn't know your numbers. And so make sure that you count before and after. I always tell directors, make sure you're staggering lunch breaks so no rooms ever dip below ratio. Before you step out as a teacher, make sure that you know your count and leave that teacher with a good count, and make sure that you're not walking out because it's your lunch break time and you have to go, but that classroom is now going to be on ratio. See, in childcare, we got to be a little bit more understanding. We have to be a little bit more flexible. I know your lunch break is supposed to start at 11 o'clock and they want you back on time, but sometimes things happen. And as childcare providers and as childcare, early childhood professionals, we got to be a little bit understanding. I know it was plenty of days that I was in a 3-year-old classroom. My break was supposed to start at 12 and I didn't go until 1:30. Why? Because somebody came back late, because this happened and that happened. And yeah, my stomach was about to tear out of my belly because I was hungry. But I had to understand I'm there for the kids. I'm there. And if I walk out, they're not going to have a teacher, or I'm going to leave my co-teacher out of ratio. All right. What does supervision or supervised children at all times mean? And it means that you are accountable for each child with visual, auditory awareness, close physical proximity, and real knowledge of what each child needs and is doing. So when you say, I don't know what he was over there doing, I don't know what happened to him, I don't know, you are directly violating minimum standards. And do you know everything? No, you don't. But you can kind of guess, especially when you know your kids and you're paying attention to your kids. You know what's going on. You know such and such is over there in the corner too long, he probably be pooping. You know such and such ran over to you and started crying, but you didn't see a mark, but then the mom called and says, hey, I saw a scratch on his back. You should be able to connect the dots and say, oh, you know what? That's probably why he was crying and pointing over in the corner, because he scratched himself on a shelf. That's knowing your kids. And I can speak to this because for several years in my 3-year-old program, I had 33-year-olds in my classroom with a co-teacher who was just like the paint on the wall. So basically I was in that classroom all by myself. And sometimes we get in those predicaments, and I had to carry the load. And so when I tell you I had to be aware and look and know, I had to know. One pro tip I did is before that parent walked out, I said, hey, let me check and make sure that they're good to go. And I asked the child right there, okay, where did you get that from? Oh, Miss Carolyn, I fell. When did you fall? Why did you tell Miss Carolyn? Right there in front of the parent, because then the parent knows that I actually care about their kid, and I'm not trying to send them home with scrapes, bruises, bumps. It was to the point that my parents, if they found something with the kid from my classroom, they'd be like, Miss Carolyn, I know he probably did this, but do you remember? They would come to me differently. Why? Because they know I was gonna check. I checked when they got there. I checked every time we came from the playground. I did a whole body scan of everybody, because that was when accidents happened. When I got them up from nap, I did a whole body scan. Let me check you out. And before they went home, I did a body scan because I didn't want any confusion, because I know kids can hurt themselves and fall, and we not know it, especially if it's under the shirt or under the pants, ankle, socks, whatever it may be. But we just have to be a little bit more intentional about checking them out. Active supervision versus passive supervision. You are positioning yourself to see everybody and everything. You're scanning, you're counting, you're anticipating, you're playing with the kids. You're not being a spectator, but you are being a co-play partner. So you're co-playing with the kids so that you can know what's going on. Passive means that you're just standing around, just chatting while the kids are there. And this is not the time. Summer is not the time for you to be doing that. No time is the time to be doing that, but especially in the summertime, because if you know the number of kids that get left behind, hurt in the summertime, it is absolutely unbelievable. All right. Let's talk about some of those killers of supervision. And guys, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I will pull those questions up and answer them. All right. Killers, personal cell phone or devices. That's a killer. You can't focus on your phone and focus on the kids at the same time. Okay. Being around your co-teacher, just chatting, clustering to chat. I see teachers standing at the door. Like, if you're standing at the door talking to somebody across the hallway, then who's watching your kids? All right. Blind spots and corners. I know that when you arrange your equipment in the classroom, sometimes there can be like a little bit of a blind spot. That's why we have to position ourselves and walk around and try to avoid those blind spots, so kids are not hiding back there doing whatever they want to do, and also so that they're not hiding when it comes time to transition. Losing count during transition, making sure that you have a name to face and you say the child's name and look at them when you count. How many of you guys have seen Home Alone? 1, 2, 3, and it was a kid from across the street. She counted, but she didn't count the right kid. Just because you have 11 kids and 11 kids went out to the playground doesn't mean it was your 11 kids. Sometimes we count and that kid doesn't belong there, or we double count. That's why we have to look at their face and their name and match it as they're going in. One of the things that I did as a transition, whenever kids were outside, I would start off, they would come out, they would sit, and then I would let them go one by one, free play, free play, free play. Then about 15 minutes before we went in, I paused it to do our large group activity. And that way I can bring them together to count them. And then that way I already have my hands on them and they're really close to me before we transition to go outside. So I split my outside time from free play and then half the time organized play. That way I would not have to chase a kid and run around when it's time to transition to go inside. So those are some tips to give you guys on outdoor play. All right. All right. Beat the heat, keep them moving. All right. So making sure that you have frequent water breaks when you're outside with the little ones, you're taking their water bottles out. It is nothing like seeing a teacher outside with her cup. I don't even have my cup right here. And the kid's like, I'm thirsty. No, you're fine. You just had some milk with your lunch. It is so hilarious to me to see them out there just chilling with they drink, but then they expect the kids are not thirsty. So making sure that you have that available. If you can put sunscreen on kids, make sure that you have the proper permission slip if you use permission slips. If not, then making sure that you put on the right sunscreen. Making sure that you're in a shaded area as much as possible because those kids can get hot, and that you're not in shade, but then you're telling the kids to go play. Okay, and make sure you engage them in shaded area so that they are, not bored, they're not getting into things they're not supposed to get into. Make sure that you bring in fresh fun play ideas. A lot of things I used to do is like water sponges, obstacle courses, bubble station, a shaded quiet corner. You know you don't have to have a pool out there to stay cool. Make sure that you are having fun with those kids. One of the things that I used to like to do is popsicle painting. I would put them on smocks and give them popsicles, and then they would paint with them on the wall. Yes, some of them will take a lick a couple of times out of it. That's to be expected. But they had fun using the different paint, the different popsicles to paint with. And I would tell them, hey, make sure you're not licking it because it's on paper and other friends are painting with it, but some of them will still lick it. That's just because that's what they do. So you want to make sure that you're having fresh, fun ideas, and just know that no pool is required. No water play is required. You can beat the heat and keep them moving outdoors. All right. So transitions are where a lot of you guys may slip and lose kids. And I'm not saying that it happens to everybody, but it happens to the best. Yeah, because they take advantage. They rest on the fact that they know. You don't know. You always have to count. You never know when a kid is going to hide from you. You never know whenever a situation is going to happen. So make sure you're giving them warning. Give them a job. Let them know who's going to be the line leader, the caboose, the door holder, all of that so that you can account for everyone. Count them in, count them out, count them every single time you're about to cross over a threshold or move them to a different area. All right. And then make sure that when you're leaving out of the classroom, you're looking everywhere, including your bathrooms, behind your cubbies, in the corner, and having that little checklist and reminder to check, because there has been times, I'm not going to lie, I walk through at a school and there's a kid on the toilet. And it's like, where are your friends at? Yeah, they're just sitting there kicking and singing, and the whole class is on the playground. The teacher has no idea she's left the kid. And like I said, it happens to the best of the best teachers. Why? Because we get relaxed, we get casual, and things start to happen throughout the day, and then we forget. So we have to make sure that we're using those things, all right? Knowing what age sets the ratio, knowing that there's a difference between 13 plus kids in a building. So the ratio does change once you have a certain amount of kids. And most of us as licensed child care centers have 13 plus kids. And so you have to be able to calculate. And we just did that a few seconds ago when you're mixing those age groups. And so just know, get your pen and paper out, make your list, calculate who's the middle child, and then understand that there cannot be an 18-month difference between the oldest and the youngest child. And this is something, like I said, we have to practice. Understand that field trip ratio, water ratios are always different. It goes by basically almost like the youngest child. So we want to go through those standards and understand what those ratios are, what is going on when we're on different things. And I know people, they go on field trips all the time, but they don't understand that there's different ratios for field trips. And they don't follow them. They follow the ones for the classroom. And those are two different ratios. All right. So whenever you have mixed age groups, which is going to happen in the summertime, guys, this is going to happen. I mean, it's just what it is. Unless you're at a center where you stay full year round and you don't have to mix age groups, great. But most of the times there are some mixed age groups, okay? So make sure you tier the activities based on their levels. Yes, just because you're talking about the sun doesn't mean that you can't have some 4-year-old activities where they're writing sun and putting the sun together, and 2-year-old activities where they're using sponges to paint the sun yellow and orange and red, or mixed colors. And so you want to tier those activities so that everyone is in and no one is lost or left out. Create a buddy system, especially if you have 2s and 5-year-olds, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5. Let the 5-year-olds hold the hands of the 2-year-olds and support you as you're transitioning. That will build their leadership skills. It will help them to support you in the classroom. Making sure that you have choices in the learning centers that fit the different age groups and showing them how to play with them. I used to work at a company called Bright Horizons, and I was the backup teacher for the preschool classroom, which means that I could have 3s, 4s, and 5s mixed in there. And so on my shelf, I had to have things for 3-year-olds, things for 4-year-olds, things for 5-year-olds, and then color code them so that when a kid comes in, I would give them a color code bracelet and they knew that the blue toys were theirs. Now, I would have a kid every once in a while be like, oh, Miss Carolyn, can I play with the yellow toys, which was the age up? And I'd be like, yeah, which one do you want to do? I'll show you how to use them. And so I did this to kind of keep from having kids not know how to appropriately use toys and to make sure that they were challenging and age appropriate. Also, scanning your classroom for choking hazards. We don't do that enough. Investing in one of those choking tubes from Amazon. Just get it. You put the toy in there. If it slides in, it's a choking hazard. And we used to have those choking tubes in every single classroom because everything that went on that shelf had to be, we had to make sure that it wasn't a choking hazard, especially if it was with 2s and 3-year-olds. And you say 3-year-olds, yeah, 3-year-olds. They put stuff in their mouth all the time. You're constantly licking and putting things all over the place. And so, yes, I used to even check the choking with the 3-year-olds because, I mean, essentially, they just left out of the 2-year-old phase. And I know their mind is still oral sensory. And so they want to put things in their mouth. They want to. Yes. Any questions? Drop your questions in the chat. If you have questions about ideas for these mixed age groups and some more suggestions in that area. This is something that I teach on all the time in Hot Topics, and it's about behavior. Bored kids equal behavior problems. Why? Because they're going to find something to do, and trust you me, it could be some stuff you ain't never thought about or heard of before. Their minds are quite interesting. They invent things. They come up with different things, and you're like, what? Where did you get that? Who told you about that? What made you think? Who would have thunk? And so when the day is long, they're with you from 6 to 6, 12 hours a day, more than they even spend in public school. And so we have to keep them busy. So think about some activities like, clubs and STEM, interest projects. What I used to do for my after schoolers in the summertime, even during spring break, even during Christmas break, I had a big chart and I would sit down and I'll say, okay, y'all tell me some of the things that you guys want to explore and do this summer. They would tell me, I would put it on sticky notes, and I built my field trips and my curriculum off of what they said they wanted to do. I was so shocked to find that some of them wanted to do paper dolls. And so I had a paper doll creation station where they can make clothes. Some of them wanted to do crocheting and knitting. I had a station for that. So sometimes we think kids want to learn and do certain things, but it's not what they want to do at all. I was shocked to find how many 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-olds wanted to use stickers. I actually thought that they would think that that's babyfied. Let their voice shine. Ask them what do they want to do. If you have 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds that have gone to kindergarten and they're going to first grade, ask them. Put a chart up and say, hey, what are some things that you think are amazing and you want to do for the summer? And I heard kids tell me, oh, I want to be a detective. Oh, I want to learn more about this. I want to be a chef. I want to cook. And I just listed all of those things down and I brought it to them. And when I brought the things that they wanted to do, the behavior started to just go down. Now, I didn't say go away. I said reduce. So a lot of times you go to training, they'll be like, oh, that'll make that behavior go away. No, it doesn't. They still gonna act up sometimes. They still gonna get into things, but it's gonna be less because you're gonna keep them engaged and they're not gonna be bored. I used to walk in the school age classroom. Mm-mm-mm. And I'm like, how do they tear up a classroom? How in the world does big kids tear up the classroom worse than 2-year-olds? Because they bored. They ain't got nothing to do. And I would look at the teacher like, what are they? I told them to sit down. They don't want to sit down. They want to move. They've been sitting down all year long at school. They want to do something different. And so it's important that we give them that opportunity to do something different. So ask yourself, are your kids bored? And this goes more than just after schools. If you work with 3s, 4s, 2s, infants, if they get bored, they're going to get into things that they're not supposed to get into. You have to keep them so busy that they tired. They begging to take a nap. My 3-year-old classroom, I had them doing something like let's move, constantly going. Because if not, get them like about 15 minutes. They're going to rip some stuff up. And this is the reality of young people. This is the reality of early education. Make sure that you're handling behavior according to child care licensing. A lot of people are doing things that are very inappropriate to children. I'm seeing it on TikTok. I'm seeing it on Instagram, filming kids, hitting kids, talking inappropriately to children. And we have to remember that we are the standard. Education starts in childcare. It's the very beginning. It's the beginning steps. And if you are handling kids the wrong way and not being patient with them, then you're hurting them. Understand that you cannot shame them. Use harsh discipline. You're a baby. You peed on yourself again, I'm going to put you in the baby room. Demeaning these children in a way that their confidence cannot be rebuilt. Redirect them. Offer them choices. They have the right to have feelings, but they don't have to express it in a negative way. And that's what I tell kids. Look, you have the right to be upset, but when you're upset, here's what you can do, and here's what I don't want to see you do. And many times when we talk about behavior, we never talk about the can in the behavior. So what can you do when you're angry? What can you do when you're angry? What can you do when you're frustrated? What can you do when you're frustrated? Right? So we don't talk about the cans and these behaviors. We talk about what they can't do, leaving them no choice but to figure out what they can do. Okay? Build a calm down option as opposed to like go to timeout. No, I need you to go relax a little bit. Just take your break. Get your book and just take a break for a second so we can all collect our thoughts. And then sometimes natural consequences happen for themselves. But we don't want natural consequences to happen and us to punish them. You know, it's this one time this kid was running and he was just running backwards. She's like, stop before you fall. No, stop running before you fall. And he couldn't help himself. And he was running and he fall and he just bust his mouth open. And she was like, see, I told you to stop running. You'll bust your mouth open. Now go sit in timeout. And I'm like, dang, he got his mouth busted open and he got to go to timeout. What's going on? Like natural consequences. I think he get it now. Maybe not, but I think he get it because I think the nature took care of it. So, and so it'll be like people that get into car accidents sometimes. I mean, unless you're drinking and driving. But if you get into a car accident and you made a mistake, the accident is the nature. It'd be like the police coming and saying, okay, you're going to jail right now. Now, I know that sometimes they'll give you a ticket, but it's like that natural consequence sometimes for kids will take care of it. They'll never do it again. And I'm not a person to be like, hey, you did this. Now look at what happened to you. Ha ha. I give them empathy and then I show them, I say, okay, so what happened? What caused that fall? And I let them tell me. I'm not like, hey, look at you. That's why you fell. As adults, sometimes we can be just so, abrupt and say things to children. And the kids are like, I need some love. And you're like, nope, I don't love you because you shouldn't have been running. So catch them doing something good and praise them on what's working. In early education, and I say this because I go to a lot of centers. I never really hearing people at a center stopping parents and saying, hey, I just want to share this great thing with you today about your kid. I see a lot of your kid messed up. This is what happened. Never talking to a parent at all about their child behavior. Oh, how they have to ask, how was the day? Oh, he did good today. We don't just call them and say, hey, I just want to give you a good report today. Hey, I wanted to stop you to tell you. It's like we are so quick to identify negative. And I always say, you call a parent when a child acts up, but have you ever called them to tell them that their child was doing something great? And many times the answer is no. Many times the first time a parent hear from you is when their child do something wrong. And that shouldn't be the case. We should give praises just as much as we give negative reprimands. We have to talk to them like they're little people. Hey, I know you're having a rough day, but hey, this is what we're going to do instead. Mom, do you know what happened today when we were in centers? And before we give that negative, we have to be sure to give that positive. How many of you are into making a commitment to choosing at least 4 to 5 kids this week that you can stop the parent and say, hey, this is a positive win? I used to go around to all my classrooms and I would go to my teachers. I'll say, hey, give me your top 5 kids. I'm going to call parents. And I would just call the parents. I was like, what happened? What's wrong? No. I was just calling you to tell you this great news. And my parents were like, you know what? That really made me smile today. I was having a rough day. Or such and such, they were having problems at the other school. And it's so good to hear you say something positive about them. This is what we want to see. This is what we want early education to be about. That's why I'm big about bringing the sparkle back. Let's be magical. Let's bring some excitement back into what we do. Let's have fun with the kids. That's why I do these type of trainings, because I want you guys to come and have fun with me so that you can go back to your classrooms and have fun. I hate that I can't reach out and touch you and give you something, a hands-on, something to squish around with and to play with at this time. I want you guys to think about being more magical than you are upset, bothered, irritated, discouraged. I want you to shift your mindset to be more positive. All right. Make sure when you're on field trips, you're doing counts, count them off, count them on, making sure that you have enough coverage with volunteers and with teachers. Remember that volunteers or anyone who doesn't have a background check cannot be left alone with the kids. Making sure that you have that checklist. I used to have my people call when they got to the location, when they were loading to come back to the school. They had to call to give me the count. They had to call midway through the trip to make sure that they gave me a count or send me a message of the count of what's going on. That way that they stayed alert and aware of it. Make sure that you have emergency kits with you, emergency contact information, extra clothes for kids who may have accidents, drinks, water, whatever you need. Make sure that you guys have a checklist for these field trips. We had a day before checklist, before the field trip checklist, during the field trip checklist, and loading the bus checklist, and then unloading the bus. They had a list of things that they wanted to take with them while they were on the field trip, things that they should be checking throughout, information that they need just in case an emergency happens. And the main thing is, you better bring my kids back the same way I sent them out. And that's the mindset that we have to have when we're on this field trip. We are protecting these kids. We're making sure that nothing happens to them, because in this world, accidents happen all the time. You can't control what other people do. But we want to make sure that we're protecting them with all of our might when we're out there taking them on these field trips into the real world. All right. Water days, there are some licensing rules when it comes to those water days, making sure that if it's over 18 inches that you have a certified lifeguard. The ratio follows the youngest child. Every extra eyes for kids in the water. Sprinklers stay on the grass, that you want to make sure that they're not on the sidewalk or a driveway or a patio, because the kid could slip and fall on that concrete. And so you want to make sure that if you have splash pools or wading pools, that they are out of reach when they're not used. You never leave bodies of water, not just with pools, but also with mop buckets, because kids are head heavy. They can fall head first into water and drown in a matter of seconds. So we want to make sure to stay close to the littlest person out there, and never leave water unattended. Okay, so we want to keep those kids close to us. We want to make sure that on those splash days we're having fun, but we're keeping them safe. All right, so what do you do on Monday, or tomorrow? Today is Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, or what are you going to start? You have to make sure that you go through this checklist and make sure that you are winning when it comes to compliance. Okay, that you have your ratios posted, you are covered, you're doing active supervision, you're counting in, counting out, you know the age of the children that you're working with, you're keeping them engaged positively, and that you are making sure that on field trips and water play that you are using super tight supervision, making sure that you have your lifeguards, you recount, you have your rosters, you have your walkie talkies, you have everything that you have, communication logs, your CSM, your communication systems, all of that together. All right, so when it comes to compliance, I want you guys to understand that in the summer, we don't get time off. We actually have to have extra time on. In the summer, we don't get the opportunity to just relax and have that time off because we chose childcare as our profession. Many of you guys who may work at Head Start may have this time off to get training, and and then you'll be going back to school when school start. But many people in early education and childcare don't get this time off. Make sure when your rep comes out to your school, if you're in session in the summertime, that they have nothing to write you up for. Okay? Nothing to write you up for. If you are on our email list, number one, I want you to make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you are on our email list and you actually register for this training, I will be at the end of this week sending out some compliance sheets for you guys to use in your classroom, to laminate, to put up. You can add stickers to it, whatever, so that you can stay in count for your ratio. If it goes against your decor at your center, because I know a lot of corporate schools, you can only hang certain things, put it on your clipboard. Have it on your clipboard and ready to go. And I want to be able to give those compliance worksheets to you guys as hot topics. If you stayed here with me today, this hot topic will be turned into a quiz. The hot topic from last week, if you want to go and watch that, when I send out the link for this week, you can always go back and watch last week, take the quiz, and then get your 1 hour certificate for this particular training. I want to make sure each week we're bringing you some amazing topics. So if it's topics that you want me to train on or give more details about, drop them in the comments, drop them under one of our videos, and I will make sure that gets into our lineup. And so I want to thank you guys for spending this hot topic hour with me. Making sure that you are compliant. If you have licensing questions, I'm going to put some music on, and then I am going to check the comments to see if you guys have any questions. But if you don't have questions on here, you can go ahead and log off. If you want to just stay on, listen to the music, you feel free to do so. I'm going to be just answering questions as questions come up. And then at 8 o'clock, if I don't see any questions, I'll go ahead and end the hot topic Zoom. So I'm going to put on some music, the hot topic music, and then I'm going to check the comments for questions for me to be able to answer.
It's hot topic time. Sparkle Caters, where you at? Grab your notebook, grab your pen. We're about to bring the sparkle back. We're talking real life, real rooms, real days, real childcare in 100 different ways. Schedules, routines, behaviors too. We got practical tools just for you. No fluff, no fear, no shame in the room. We're here to help every teacher bloom. From the classroom floor to the director's chair, Hot Topics brings the answers there. Bring your questions, bring your notes, bring that coffee, grab your toast. We meet you right where you are, then help you shine like the star you are. It's Hot Topics time. Let's talk about it. Real solutions, no doubt about it. Learn it, try it, take it back. Sparkle Caters, stay on track. It's Hot Topics time. Come get the tools for your center staff in classrooms too. Training you to sit is where we grow. Hands-on learning. Let's go, let's go. Let's go. From big nine moments to circle time flow, from learning centers to helping children grow, from staff support to licensing care, we bring the training that gets you prepared. Child care is heavy, but you're not alone. Tuds Academy is your training home. We lead with love, but we tell the truth because quality care starts with you. Affordable, practical, polished, clear, the kind of training you need right here. We bring the sparkle, we bring the plan. Now clap your hands if you understand. Topic time, let's talk about it. Real solutions, no doubt about it. Learn it, try it, take it back. Sparkle Caters, stay on track. It's Hot Topic time. Home, get the tools. Found your center staff in classrooms too. Training you to succeed is where we grow. Hands-on learning. Let's go, let's go. Who's in the room? Oh! Sparkle Caters. What do we need? Real solutions. How do we learn? Hands-on, heart-led. What do we bring? That sparkle back. Hot Topics, we're ready. No bubbles, open mind steady. We came to learn, we came to grow. Now Dr. C, let's start the show. Hot Topics time. Let's talk about it. Real solutions, no doubt about it. Learn it, try it, take it back. Sparkle Caters, stay on track. Hot Topics time. Come get the tools for your center staff in classrooms too. Training you to succeed is where we grow. Hands-on learning. Let's go, let's go. Welcome to Live Hot Topic Training. We're training you to succeed. Grab your notes, open your mind, and get ready to bring the sparkle back.
All right, all right, all right. I want to thank you guys for joining me on Hot Topics. I will catch you next week here live, ready to go on our next topic. Make sure that you register so that you do not miss out on all the goodies that I give away after Hot Topics. All right, I am Dr. Carolyn Bob Green, and I look forward to training you to succeed. Have a nice Wednesday.